Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you for a minute. I don't care who you are, where you come from, or what you're dealing with right now. If you woke up this morning, that's not an accident. That's God saying, I'm not done with you yet. The problem is, too many people wake up and start listening to the world before they listen to themselves. You roll out of bed and let fear talk to you. Let doubt talk to you. Let your past start running its mouth. Nah, before anything else speaks to you, you need to speak to yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real simple but real powerful. If you opened your eyes this morning, that alone means something. That ain't luck. That ain't random. That is purpose still breathing inside you. See, a lot of people wake up and treat the day like it's automatic, like they were guaranteed another sunrise. You are not guaranteed this day. You were granted this day. Big difference. Somebody went to sleep last night with plans, dreams, intentions, and they didn't wake up, but you did. That means your assignment is still active. Too many people wake up asking, why am I still here? Instead of saying, since I'm still here, what am I supposed to do? Your presence is proof. Proof that there's something left for you to accomplish. Someone left for you to impact. Something left for you to learn. Or something left for you to overcome. You might not like your situation, but don't confuse your situation with your purpose. Your purpose doesn't disappear just because life got hard. See, purpose ain't always loud. Sometimes purpose is quiet. Sometimes it's just getting through the day without giving up. Sometimes it's showing your kids how to keep going even when you're tired. Sometimes it's learning patience, humility, or faith when you don't have answers. You think purpose always looks like success, money, or applause. Now, sometimes purpose looks like endurance. A lot of folks think because they haven't made it yet, they missed it. No, you didn't miss it. You're being shaped for it. God will keep you alive through seasons that don't make sense because what's coming next needs the version of you that can survive this. If you quit now, you cut off what you prayed for. That's why you woke up. Not because it's easy, but because you're capable. And let me say this clearly, waking up is already winning. You might feel late. You might feel like everybody else ahead of you. But if you're still breathing, the race ain't over. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how many times you failed. I don't care how long you've been stuck. Purpose don't have an expiration date. You think you late, but God operates outside of time. Some of you woke up tired, discouraged, frustrated, maybe even broken. But broken things still have value. In fact, some of the strongest things in life were once broken and repaired. Your scars don't disqualify you. They qualify you to help somebody else survive what you survived. That's purpose. The pain wasn't pointless. The delay wasn't denial. It was preparation. When you wake up every morning, before you check your phone, before you check your problems, before you check social media, you need to remind yourself, I'm still here for a reason. Say it even when you don't feel it, especially when you don't feel it. Because feelings lie, but purpose don't. Your life has meaning beyond your current mood. You didn't wake up just to pay bills and die. You didn't wake up just to struggle and repeat the same story. You woke up because something in this world still needs you. The way you think, the way you speak, the way you survive, that's not accidental. That's design. And as long as you keep waking up, purpose keeps calling your name. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you about something that sounds small but controls everything: gratitude. See, most people wake up already upset. They open their eyes and the first thing they think about is what they don't have, what didn't work, who hurt them, what bills are due, what went wrong yesterday. And before their feet hit the floor, their mind already in a bad place. Now, how you expect to have a good day when you started it with a bad conversation in your head? Gratitude ain't pretending your life is perfect. Gratitude is choosing to recognize what's still working. You might not be where you want to be, but thank God you ain't where you used to be. Some of you got just enough food, just enough strength, just enough peace to make it through today, and that's enough. See, when you focus on what you have instead of what you lack, your whole perspective shifts. Problems don't disappear, but they stop controlling you. Your attitude determines how heavy life feels. Same problem, different attitude, completely different experience. Two people can go through the same storm. One grows bitter, the other grows better. The difference ain't the storm, it's the mindset. Gratitude keeps you from becoming angry at life. It keeps you from thinking the world owes you something. Because the truth is, nobody owes us another day. The fact that we get one is already grace. Let me tell you something else. Complaining blocks blessings. You can't be ungrateful and expect overflow at the same time. Every time you complain, you tell God what He did wasn't enough. And I know that's not what you mean, but that's what it sounds like. Gratitude opens doors you didn't even know existed. It sharpens your vision so you can see opportunities hiding inside obstacles. Some of you praying for big things but overlooking small miracles. Woke up this morning, miracle. In your body, miracle. Still got your right mind, miracle. Somebody you love still alive, miracle. See, when you start stacking your blessings instead of stacking your complaints, you realize your life ain't as empty as you thought. Gratitude also protects your peace. When you're thankful, it's hard for jealousy to live in you. You stop comparing your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 20. You stop rushing your process. You understand that everybody's journey is different and your time will come. Comparison steals joy, but gratitude restores it. And listen, gratitude makes you resilient. When you've learned how to be thankful in hard times, life can't break you. You may bend, but you won't shatter. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what can this teach me? That shift alone changes everything. It turns pain into wisdom and setbacks into setups. Every morning, before the world gets a chance to speak into you, you need to speak gratitude over your own life. Say, thank you, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it, because gratitude is a decision, not an emotion. And once you decide to be thankful, your day starts working for you instead of against you. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to hear this one real clear, because too many people losing good futures over old stories. Your past does not disqualify you. It educates you. It humbles you. It shapes you. But it does not cancel what God has planned for you. The biggest mistake people make is believing that because they messed up, they're finished. No, you're not finished. You're human. Some of you wake up every morning already defeated, not because of what's happening now, but because of what happened back then. You keep replaying mistakes like they're headlines. You let one bad decision convince you that you're a bad person. That's a lie. You are not your worst moment. You are not your failure. You are not the thing you did when you didn't know better, didn't have better, or weren't better yet. Life is a classroom, not a courtroom. You don't get sentenced forever for being ignorant once. You learn, you grow, you adjust. But see, the enemy loves reminding you of who you used to be, because if he can keep you looking backward, you won't walk forward. Some of you so busy punishing yourself that you never give yourself permission to rise. Let me tell you something, everybody you admire messed up. Everybody you look up to failed at something. The only difference is they didn't quit on themselves. They didn't let shame take the steering wheel. Shame will make you hide. Guilt will make you change. There's a difference. Shame says, you're not worthy. Growth says, stop thinking your mistakes surprised God. He already knew. He factored them in. You think he handed out purpose without knowing you'd stumble. No, the plan included the lesson. Some of the strongest people you'll ever meet are strong because life knocked them down and they got back up with wisdom this time. Your past didn't break you, it trained you. It taught you what not to do. It showed you who not to trust. It revealed what you can survive. And survival builds confidence you can't get any other way. You don't know how powerful you are until you've been powerless and still made it through. Some of you disqualifying yourself over things God already forgave. You keep bringing up charges that were dismissed. You dragging chains that were already unlocked. At some point, you have to stop rehearsing apologies and start rehearsing growth. You don't owe the world perfection. You owe it authenticity and effort. And let me say this, your scars make you useful. They give you credibility. People listen to you differently when you've been through something. Your testimony isn't about being flawless. It's about being faithful through failure. You can reach people that polished folks never will because you speak from experience, not theory. You gotta stop saying, if only I hadn't, and start saying, because I went through that, because what you went through didn't weaken you. It revealed you. It exposed strength you didn't know you had. It developed patience, empathy, and grit. And those qualities matter more than a clean record. Every morning, you need to tell yourself, I'm allowed to move on. Say it even when your mind argues back. Say it until your heart catches up, because the future doesn't require you to be perfect. It requires you to be present. And the moment you stop living in yesterday, tomorrow starts responding to you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain faith the way it actually works, not the way people like to post it online. Faith is not sitting around waiting for something to happen. Faith is action. Faith is behaving like what you asked for is already on the way, even when there's no physical evidence yet. See, a lot of people say they got faith, but their actions tell a different story. You praying for opportunity, but you not preparing. You asking for change, but you still doing the same things. That ain't faith, that's wishful thinking. Faith is getting up and doing your part before the results show up. It's showing up when nobody clapping. It's working when nobody watching. It's planting seeds when you don't see rain. You don't wait until the harvest to believe in farming. You believe first, then you work. That's how this thing goes. Faith requires trust, and trust requires risk. If you're not uncomfortable, you're probably not using faith. Most people want guarantees before they move. They want signs, confirmations, proof. But faith don't work like that. Faith says, move first and I'll catch you. That's scary. That's why most people don't do it. They'd rather stay stuck in what's familiar than step into what's possible. Comfort will talk you out of destiny every single time. You ever notice how doors don't open until you walk up to them? You don't see the whole staircase, you just see the next step. Faith is taking that step without knowing how many more coming. And that's where trust comes in. Trust that you're being guided even when you can't see the route. Trust that delays are not denials. Trust that silence doesn't mean absence. A lot of people say, when I see it, I'll believe it. Faith says, believe it, and then you'll see it. That's the switch. That's the difference between people who talk about dreams and people who live them. Faith doesn't mean you won't have doubt. It means you move anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's obedience in spite of it. And let me be real with you, faith will make you look foolish to people who don't understand it. They'll ask why you trying, why you risking, why you still believing after all you've been through. They don't see what you see, they don't hear what you heard. The vision wasn't given to them. Stop trying to explain your faith to people who require proof for everything. Some things are felt, not explained. Faith also requires patience. You don't microwave purpose. You don't rush timing. Just because it didn't happen yet doesn't mean it won't happen. Some blessings take time because they need to arrive at the right version of you. If it came too early, it would crush you. So while you waiting, you growing. While you praying, you being prepared. You can't live in fear and faith at the same time. One has to go. Fear says, what if it doesn't work? Faith says, what if it does? Fear keeps you safe. Faith makes you free. And every major breakthrough in your life will require you to choose faith over fear. Every morning you gotta decide how you're gonna show up. Not based on what you see, but based on what you believe. Walk like it's coming. Work like it's possible. Speak like it's already done. Because faith responds to action, and action is what turns belief into reality. Ladies and gentlemen, let me clear something up that's holding a lot of people back. Motivation is nice, but discipline is necessary. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings change. Discipline is a decision, and decisions shape your life. If you only move when you feel inspired, you're going to spend a whole lot of time standing still. Because let me tell you something real, you are not going to feel like it every day. Some mornings you wake up tired. Some days you discouraged. Some days nothing seems to be working. And if motivation is the only thing you're relying on, you'll quit the moment life stops hyping you up. Discipline says, I'm doing it anyway, even when you don't feel strong, even when nobody encouraging you, even when results ain't showing up yet. Discipline is what gets you out of bed when your emotions begging you to stay comfortable. It's what makes you practice when nobody watching. It's what keeps you focused when distractions calling your name. Everybody wants the reward, but not everybody willing to do the routine. And success lives in the routine. See, motivation is like a visitor. It comes and goes. Discipline is like family. It stays. You don't wait to feel motivated to brush your teeth, to go to work, to take care of responsibilities. You do it because it's required. The moment you treat your goals like responsibilities instead of hobbies, your life starts changing. A lot of people saying, I'm waiting to get motivated, that's backwards. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. You move first, then the feeling follows. You don't feel confident and then act confident. You act confident until confidence shows up. Discipline creates momentum, and momentum creates belief. Discipline also protects you from excuses. When you discipline, you stop negotiating with yourself. You don't argue about whether you should do it today or tomorrow. You already decided. Excuses lose their power when decisions are already made. And excuses sound real good until you compare them to the life you said you wanted. Let me say this: discipline is self-respect. It's you keeping promises to yourself. And every time you break a promise to yourself, you lose trust in yourself. But every time you show up anyway, even on bad days, you build confidence you can't fake. That's real confidence. The kind that comes from knowing I can rely on me. People always ask, how do you stay consistent? The answer ain't motivation. It's standards. You raise your standards for how you live, how you work, how you show up. You stop accepting your own excuses. You stop letting temporary discomfort talk you out of long-term fulfillment. Discipline don't mean you never rest. It means you don't quit. It means you understand the difference between rest and retreat. Rest helps you recover. Retreat pulls you backward. Discipline teaches you when to pause and when to push. And here's the part most people don't like: discipline is lonely. You're going to do a lot of work by yourself. You're going to say no when others saying yes. You're going to miss some fun while you're building something meaningful. But temporary sacrifice creates permanent results. Motivation will clap for you. Discipline will carry you. And when life stops cheering, discipline is what keeps you standing, moving, building, and becoming who you said you wanted to be. Ladies and gentlemen, this one right here might be the hardest truth to accept, but it's the one that changes everything. You are responsible for becoming who you prayed to be, not your parents, not your friends, not the government, not your past. You. See, prayer is powerful, but prayer without responsibility turns into wishing. You can ask God for direction all day long, but you still gotta move your feet. A lot of people praying for change but living like nothing is supposed to change. You asking for growth but avoiding discomfort. You praying for success but scared of responsibility. You want the blessing, but you don't want the burden that comes with it. And every blessing comes with weight. Every answered prayer comes with work. At some point, you gotta stop saying, I'm waiting on God, when God been waiting on you. He gave you the idea. He gave you the ability. He gave you the opportunity. What he's not gonna do is force you to act. Responsibility is understanding that your life is in your hands now. You can't keep blaming your childhood when you've grown. You can't keep blaming people who not even in your life anymore. Blame might explain where you are, but it won't get you where you're going. Responsibility means ownership. Ownership of your habits. Ownership of your choices. Ownership of how you respond when life don't go your way. You may not be responsible for what happened to you, but you are responsible for what you do next. That's the part nobody likes because it removes excuses. And excuses are comfortable. Responsibility is uncomfortable, but it's freeing. When you accept responsibility, you stop waiting for permission. You stop waiting for approval. You stop waiting for somebody to save you. You realize you are the plan. You are the answer to some of your own prayers. The strength you've been asking for shows up when you decide to stand. The clarity you've been asking for shows up when you start moving. Some of you praying to be better, but still holding on to habits that keep you small. Responsibility means letting go of what no longer matches who you say you want to become. You can't pray for a new life and keep living the old routine. You can't ask for elevation and refuse discipline. Growth demands alignment. Let me tell you something real. Responsibility hurts before it helps. It means looking in the mirror and saying, I did this, or I allowed this, or I stayed too long. That's painful. But that pain produces power. Because once you admit you're part of the problem, you also become part of the solution. Responsible people don't wait for perfect conditions. They work with what they have. They start where they are. They understand that progress beats excuses every time. You don't need more time, more money, more connections. You need more commitment. Commitment to showing up even when it's hard. Commitment to learning instead of quitting. Commitment to growth instead of comfort. Responsibility also means patience with yourself. You won't become who you prayed to be overnight. You're building, you're evolving, you're learning. But every day you avoid responsibility, you delay the answer to your own prayer. Every day you choose ownership, you move closer to it. When you finally accept that your future is your job, something shifts inside you. You stop feeling powerless. You stop feeling like life just happens to you. You realize you have a say, and that's when real change begins, not when everything around you changes, but when you decide to rise and become who you've been asking for all along.